Ladies and gentlemen, happy Sabbath and happy new month. If you're here for the first time, this is Gashis Kaiman, the tallest man in Black Africa. He arrived in Kisumu, but the people could not recognize him. The people who normally welcomes him could not recognize him. Hawakumtabua. The man was on the run. Moi wanted him dead. He boarded a motorboat at Deda Beach and sailed all the way to Uganda, sometimes as a sheikh, sometimes as a Catholic father. The man is none other than Raila Odiga. Raila Odiga was to die on 3rd October 1991. That is the day that Moi and his assassin had planned that Raila was to die. Raila was no longer fearing the detention. It meant nothing to him. Having spent 9 years in detention, Raila Odiga was so bold that detention meant nothing to him, but he was not ready to go back to detention. Kwa hivyo kile ambacho kilitokea ni kwamba he took vodka to avoid a chilly, deadly cold immediately after the boat ride to Uganda, because the person who was steering the boat at around 4 a.m. and whose wife was very sick and they had to travel to Uganda. The wife was so sick and Raila Odiga had to give his jacket to the sick wife. That is when the cold hit Raila Odiga and the man took vodka which was given to him by a friend. That is Raila for you. And dressed in as Machakos priest, clean shaven and in glasses, he passed through the roadblocks and the police could not recognize him. Seated on the back left, alikuwa ametoka Nairobi all the way to Kisumu, akipita vizuizi vya barabara. Polisi, maafisa wa polisi hawakuweza kumtabua. Just around 1991 October, I'm saying that the American embassy tipped Raila that Moi's government wanted him dead on October, I think, that. And Raila has to change his name. And he has to be a father, Machako's father. And that is why people could not recognize him, because of the way he was dressed. And in Uganda, when he arrived in Uganda, again he changed his name to Haji Omar, who was going to make a pilgrimage. And that time, he was wearing a full kanzu and escaped to Norway. And it was very, very interesting. Well, in Uganda, that is why it is good to have friends in various places. Always have a friend. When you see a friend like me from the mountain, you never know when you'll be on the run. And call me and labda nitakuficha kama Raila. And he had a friend in Uganda who was working with his spectacle, a gas company. In fact, he was his employee one time. And that this is a man ambaye alimficha Raila Odiga in Uganda. Because the most surprising thing is that Moi's intelligence guys followed him to Uganda. Remember, Moi had all the intelligence all over East Africa. Kwa hivyo walikuwa wanataka kumkamata akiwa pale, walikuwa wanataka kumtia baroni. But this guy reported to the United National High Commissioner for Refugees, and Raila was registered as a refugee there. Today, Raila could be dead, I tell you. He could be dead. And this is just one of the many times that Raila's death has been planned. Na kimiujiza, akaokoka, akaponea chupu-chupu, akaponea katika tundu la sindano. This is one man who has God's favor in him. So that is why I'm saying that presidents will come and go. Kings will come and go. Kingdom will rise and win. But to get somebody of Raila Amolo's caliber, it will be very, very hard, especially in this country. And kile ambacho tunajua ni kwamba there are people who played a very, very important role for Raila Amolo Odinga to be alive today. And one of them is Ida Odiga. This strong woman was not spared by the Moi black forces. Let me call them the black forces. Kwa sababu kile ambacho walikuwa wanafanya, walimvamia. And for sure, the policemen raided Raila's Ajip house office. No, his office was in Ajip house. They raided the office. Wakifikiri watampata Raila pale. But surprisingly, to their chagrin, Raila was in Orego's house. I think in the same building. Alikuwa amejificha kule. And hawakukwama pale. The following day, a battalion of policemen, fully armed to the teeth, raided his Kileleshwa home. Raila was not there. They found Ida. Ida because Ida is also a very witty person, and very strong, very determined. Ida called the media, and when the press people came, there was a watchman there, and the watchman, I think, was counting the policemen, 1, 2, 3, so that Ida could know the number of policemen who were there. And this time, Ida, because she was saying she was opening the door, was busy calling the press men. And here, I'm saying there are people who have played a very important role to ensure that Raila was not killed. And Ida was one of them. The other person was Mother Karua. And I also understand Mother Kwame was there. And when Ajip House was under siege, Raila Amolo Odiga had a battalion of lawyers. Orego was there. We witnessed what was happening. Mother Karua was there. Kwame was there. And many other people, many other lawyers were there. Others who helped Raila Amolo Odiga to escape to Norway were people like Mukisa Kitui, Paul Moite, and Anyang Nyong. These people are known as the Young Turks. Kwa hivyo kile ambacho walifanya ni kwamba walijaribu kumficha kutoka, in fact he was changing houses from one house to the other. He was sleeping here, alafu anaenda kule, anatoka hapa, anaenda kule. Because the man I'm saying, he was on the run. Raila's life can make a very, very interesting movie to be read and watched by generations to come. Kwa sababu huyu ni mtu ambaye amepigania nchi hii kwa damu yake, maisha yake yote. And even today, when on Thursday, I had Raila Amolo Odiga at Safari Park with Mother Karua and Kalonzo Musyoka and others. When I heard him saying that it is not yet over, I remembered the story of Raila Amolo Odiga, the long journey of struggle, the struggle for this country. Kwa hivyo wakati inasikia watu kama Gachagua wakisema ni watoto wa Mau Mau, I wonder ni nani wa Mau Mau hapa? Because when you look at a true nationalist, when you wanted the definition of a person who loves the country and can die for this country, it is Raila Amolo Odiga. Kwa sababu alijitolea mhanga kuhakikisha kwamba this country is safe. Remember, this is the time we are fighting for multipartism. Remember, even his father played a very important role. Kwa sababu yeye ndiye alituma gari, I think from Mukisa Kitui's home around 4 a.m. ili Raila aokolewe apelekwe through, I think, the Lake Victoria to escape to Uganda. And I remember, just a few days before he escaped, Raila wept, alilia. Alijitokeza na kusema maisha yake yako hatarini. Alijitokeza na kusema kwamba maisha yake, kuna watu ambao wanataka kumuua. Majasusi wa Moi walitaka kumuua. And Moi intelligence fellas were so ruthless, they could do anything. And those days, though some of us were very young, those days, we knew that many people lost their lives. That is why we talk about Sabasaba. That is what tulikuwa tunazungumzia kuhusu 8-8. And when I remember Raila Amolo Odiga and the way he has struggled for this country, I see a man who hold this country dearly in his heart. I remember when his elections was rigged, what people did not understand, and maybe I'll put a video on this, maybe in the next one, why Raila decided to move on after August 9. They didn't know what helped him to move on, because he's a man with the eyes of a cat. Many other times that the leaders would want him dead. Many other times that people would want him below the under the ground, akiwa kule chini ya mchanga. But God is another God, and the God of Raila Amolo Odiga must be a true God, kwa sababu Kenya should be proud of its heroes. Raila is a hero. Raila is a doyen of Kenyan politics. He is an enigma of Kenyan politics. When the history of this country will be written, when the sad of times will pass, one chapter will be dedicated to Raila Amolo Odiga, a chapter of triumphancy, a chapter of conquest, a chapter of determination, a chapter of fighting for the downtrodden. And that is my take. If you're here for the first time, do this video a favor and subscribe to this channel. Comment and support us by liking this video and even doing anything you can. We have to move forward now because the country is in a desperate situation. Bye-bye.